Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here again. Ms. Tan, I'll start with you this morning. For fiscal year 24, what were the reported level of improper payments for both the compensation and pension services as real dollar numbers and as a percentage?
Thank you for the question, sir. I'm going to ask our acting chief financial officer if she'll take that question, please.
Good morning, and thank you for that question. For fiscal year 2024, for compensation overpayment debts, we established $1.14 billion in overpayment debts, and that is out of an outlay of $161.196 billion, which comes out to a fraction of 1% of improper payments. It's 0.72% of outlays were improper. The breakout for the pension service for 2024, their overpayment debts were $227.4 million out of an outlay of $3.743 billion, which is a percent of outlays of 6.1%. In total, when you add both of those numbers together, the total compensation and pension overpayment debts established was $1.366 billion out of a total compensation and pension outlay of $161.196 billion for, again, a below 1% percentage of compensation and pension outlays. It's 0.85% were improper.
Got it. And of those improper payments, what percentage were overpayments versus underpayments?
So I can do the rough math here from the agency financial report for 2024. And again, these are projections that are given to us after a statistically valid sample of 300 cases is evaluated. But from the statistically valid sample, pensions improper payments were $404 million. And the overpayments were $381.78 million. So in the magnitude of 80-ish%.
So, okay, run through that one more time for me. The pensions were?
Certainly. So improper payments as a whole, well, improper payments not including unknown payments, where we don't know whether the payment is improper or not because the payment may be going through due process. So for improper payments that actually have been identified in a projection as being improper, the total was $404 million. And the overpayments of that 404 were $381.78 million.
Okay, thank you. And do these numbers show an increase or a decrease in improper payments for these offices over prior years?
So for pension service, this is an increase. The projection is an increase from 2023 to 2024.
Taking my own notes, thank you for that. This for Ms. Tam, but whoever has the answers for it, as I understand it, compensation service will be subject to more in-depth supervision under the Payments Integrity Information Act. Can you tell us why and what changed at ComService to make that necessary?
Sure. Thank you for the question, sir. So what it is that in FY24, compensation service underwent a risk assessment, and because of the pure scale of our program, as was mentioned earlier, just the amount of outlays that we have, we are susceptible to more improper payments, and so it's not necessarily that anything wrong was done. We are in testing and evaluation right now, but that heightened awareness and risk assessment as an internal control will lead us to reporting again in 2025 after having been removed previously because we met the PIA requirements, and OIG concurred with that back in April of 2021, I believe.
Okay, and we've got just a little bit of time left. Would you say this is a function of scale and not an issue of lack of proper controls, or how would you characterize it?
I think because of, as has been mentioned, just the amount of beneficiaries and veterans that we're paying and the vast dollar amounts that we're paying, We just are at heightened risk. It's a combination of factors, again, that you mentioned. I believe we have strong internal controls in place, and we're constantly working to improve those. But I think it's just based off the risk assessment, we have a higher risk because of the amount of outlays that we have.
We're out of time, so I yield back to you, Mr. Chairman.